Hello everyone, welcome to Drishti CUET and welcome to your general science, or you can say that GAT general science classes. So in that general science portion, you have to cover your physics, chemistry and biology, all the three sections, and we have already done with physics and the chemistry. Now we'll go with biology. Like biology is the section from where you may expect 2 to 3 questions in your exam, right? So this topic, or you can say this section, we are going to cover in two parts, part 1 and part 2. In this part we are going to cover all the human body systems, like what do you mean by cell, tissue, then the various like the systems we have in our body, like digestive, circulatory, then nervous system, excretory system, respiratory system. So all these are the systems which are very important and have a very important role in our body. So we are going to cover all those in a very brief, and yes, of course, the PDF is going to be very important, because here I'll prepare a list of enzymes and their actions, whatever the factual things are important related to your exam, everything is there in the PDF. So just try to cover this PDF before going to your exams. All right. So let's begin the session here. Biology, with biology, human body and function. So let me tell you what we are going to cover in this portion, like in this section. Number 1 is your you know your cell and structure, right? Then digestive and respiratory system. Okay. After that, your excretion and coordination in human nervous system, reproduction in human, nutrition, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic. So these are some of the important topics from where you may expect question in your exam, right? So one by one we'll get to each other, with get to all the topics. Try to understand the concept. Once you understand the concept, very easily you are going to memorize, very easily going to understand the thing as well. Okay. So number 1 is your cell structure and tissue. So guys, like we'll start with cell. Why? Because cell is the basic basic unit of life, right? So if ever we are talking about living organisms, right, so that living organism is made up of cells only. We just say that cell is the basic unit, or you can say fundamental unit of life. It is also described as a structural and functional unit of life. So why is cell considered as a structural and functional unit of life? It is because, whenever the cell combines, right, whenever a cell combines together, like suppose these are the cells, okay, so now whenever these cells combines together like this, right, whenever the group of cell combines together, then what they form? They form tissue. Okay. Now these tissues, when different tissues combine together, they form organ, right? So like suppose this is one tissue, one type of tissue. Okay. Then we have another tissues. So when tissues combine together, they form organ of our body, right? Now when this organ combines together, right, then we'll get a complete organ system, right? So organ is what? Like we have our lungs, we have our kidney, है ना? ये सभी क्या है? These are the organs of our body. And how these organs are made up of? Like suppose take an example of kidney. So kidney is an organ, right, made up of tissue, kidney tissues, right? Kidney tissues made up of kidney cells. So when kidney cells combine together, they form kidney tissue, they form kidney cell organs, like that. And when different organ like this, when different organs combine together, right, what they form? They form a complete organism like us. Okay, like organs, suppose kidney, lungs, liver, heart. When these organs work together, right, then what you will get ultimately? Ultimately you will get a organism, right? So now this organism, we are the organism. Okay, so that's why cell is considered as a structural unit of life. So this is why cell is a structural unit of life. Now understood why cell is considered as a structural unit of life. At the same time, cell is also considered as a functional unit of life. Right now, why it is considered as a functional unit of life? Because inside the cell, right, inside the cell we have so many organelles, we have so many parts of inside the cell, like we have a cytoplasm, cell membrane, mitochondria, nucleus, DNA, reticulum, lysosome. So these are what? These are the parts of cells, right? Cell organelle named as, and these organelle perform all the functions in our body. Like for example, we have a nucleus within the cell, right? And within the nucleus, we have a DNA as well, right? Now, you all know that DNA is what? It is a genetic material, and DNA only, right? With the DNA transcribe, they form RNA, RNA transcribe, form protein, and then that protein express in our body. So, whatever the functions we are performing, whatever जो भी function हमारे body में होते हैं, all these functions are due to these cells only. जो enzymes release होते हैं, whatever the enzyme releases from in our stomach, like for digestion, that releases from the cell only. So since it involved in all the functions of our body, that's why it is also considered as a functional unit of life. Am I clear why cell is considered as a structural and functional unit of life? ठीक है. Now the very first time cell discovered by the very first time the cell is discovered by Robert Hooke. Right. So Robert Hooke was a scientist who discovered dead cell in the plant called cambium. So this is very important. Robert Hooke first of all discovered dead cells. Okay. And where he discovered dead cells? In plant cork cambium. Okay. Now after Robert Hooke, once the Robert Hooke discovered the cell, after that Anton von Leeuwenhoek came, right? Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Anton von Leeuwenhoek came. Now he discovered live cells in pond water. Discover live cells in pond water, right? So Robert Hooke first discovered dead cells. After that, the various scientists start working on the cell, right, observing the cell, and then Anton von Leeuwenhoek prepared a better magnified microscope, and then he observed a living, moving things within the water, and he just say that they are the live cells. After that, we have a scientist like Matthias Schilden and Son who gave cell theory, right? So who gave cell theory? Schilden and Son. Schilden and Son gave cell theory, right? Now what according to cell theory, what does this cell theory suggest, guys? The cell theory suggests that all living organism made up of cells only, right? All the living organisms made up of cells only, whether it is plant, whether it is animal, all are made up of cells only. Okay. Second, what he just said, that cell is the fundamental unit of life. He also suggests that cell is the fundamental unit of life. That why? Because cell is only performing all the function in our body, right? After that, one more line added in the cell theory, that all cell exist from pre-existing cell. All the cell exist from pre-existing cell, and this line is given by Rudolf Virchow, right? This is given by a scientist named Rudolf Virchow, and what he suggests that whatever the cells we have, whenever the cell divide, then only we will get two new cell. It's not like you have to go to supermarket and you have to buy your kidney cells, you have to buy your liver cells or RBC cells and all. Okay, that cells only divide and they form new cells. So all cell exists from pre-existing cell is given by Rudolf Virchow. So just try to remember the scientist name, right? The three how many scientists name you have heard? One, Robert Hooke, then Anton von Leeuwenhoek, Schilden and Swan gave cell theory, right? And then you have Rudolf Virchow. ये सारे scientists के name is very very important. All right. So this is about the cell history, or you can say cell discovery, right? Now guys, again cell is like based on the number of cell. The organism is divided as the unicellular and multicellular. If the organism is made up of one single cell, so based on number of cell, organism classified as unicellular, multicellular, right? Unicellular means if the organism made up of single cell, ठीक है? Organism अगर single cell के बने होते हैं, like we have bacteria, ठीक है? For example, bacteria is made up of single one cell, so that bacteria is called unicellular. Multicellular, more than one cell. So like for example, humans, rat, cat, all the organisms are multicellular. Okay, so like the based on the number of cells, they are considered as unicellular and multicellular. Now again, there are two types of cells. Actually the cells are classified into two major types, that is prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells, right? See, I have shown you the shape of cell like this. So it's not like ki all the cell is looks like a spherical only, right? We have a different shape of cells we have in our body. Like we have a neurons, we have RBC cells, we have a different shape of cells. So don't think that this is just a reference that we have a cells in our body which can be in any of the shape. Okay. Now we have two types of cells, prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Now let me tell you what are the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, right? So guys, first of all, by the diagram, you can simply identify that The prokaryotic cells are simpler one, a smaller one, right, as compared to eukaryotic. See, this is very simple now, having very few organelle, but here you have so many organelle, so they are very complex. Also, the size is very small as compared to eukaryotic cells. Okay? Next, the prokaryotic cells, they are the primitive cells, right? Prokaryotes are what? They are the primitive cell. Primitive का मतलब old होते हैं, बहुत पुराने cells हैं ये. They are the older cells, primitive cells. Okay. Eukaryotic cells are the true cells, you can say. Okay. So जो हमारे सबसे पहले जब सेल इवॉल्व हुआ था ना, in the evolution history, when you learn, then the cell is prokaryotic type. Then slowly the evolution takes place and the cell modify itself and converted into, or you can say becomes eukaryotic cells, right? Now here, what is the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell? So now prokaryotic cells, generally they are smaller in size, then eukaryotic ranges between 1 to 10 micrometer, whereas eukaryotic cells are larger than your prokaryotics, ranges between 5 to 100 micrometer. Now in prokaryotics, membrane bound organelle absent. What do you mean by membrane bound organelle? Membrane bound organelle means the organelles are not surrounded by a membrane. Okay, so whatever the organelles required a protection via membrane, those organelles are absent in prokaryotes, right? But here they are present. Like for example, you can see here, in case of eukaryotes, right, what we have, this we have mitochondria, right? We all know that this mitochondria is double membranous structure, right? Mitochondria is what? Double, surrounded by double membrane structure. Okay, so since it is surrounded by membranous structure, it is absent in prokaryote. See, in the prokaryote, you haven't found this mitochondria. Okay, so like this, whatever the organelles are surrounded by membrane, they are absent, whether it is single membrane or double membrane, absent inside the prokaryotes. The chromosome is singular, right? Here what happened? The chromosome is what? Singular. Singular means only single chromosomes present. Here more than one chromosomes are found, like in human body, in our cells we have 46 chromosomes present, right? So there only one single chromosome. The nuclear region is not very much well defined and is called as the nucleoid, right? So what does it mean? Since nucleus, right, nucleus is also double membranous structure, nucleus is also surrounded by double membrane. So in case of prokaryotic cells, since nucleus is double membranous, so it is also absent, right? In eukaryotes, you have a proper well defined nuclear membrane and the nucleus. Now the question comes ki okay, if in prokaryotes nucleus is absent, so where we will have the genetic material, right? Because the genetic material like DNA is present within the nucleus only na. Nucleus में ही होते हैं genetic material. So if the prokaryotic cells have no genetic material, like no DNA, then where are their genetic materials protected? So in case of prokaryotic cells, the area, see, these are the chromosomes. So the region where the chromosomes are present, They are in the cytoplasm. See, this is the cytoplasm. This whole area is the cytoplasm. Within the cytoplasm only, you have a nuclear or genetic material of prokaryotic cell. Now, this region where you have this, this region is called nucleoid. So, what you have to remember, in case of prokaryotic cells, you will have no, no proper nucleus. Instead of nucleus, they have nucleoid. यही क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है. प्रोकैरियोट्स में न्यूक्लियस नहीं है, उसकी जगह न्यूक्लियोइड है, where the genetic material is present. Okay, in eukaryotes they have a proper genetic material inside the nucleus. Clear है difference? Now, in prokaryotic cells, examples, bacteria. So whatever the bacteria you have, right, all the bacteria possess, prokaryotic cell. सभी बैक्टीरिया के पास कौन से सेल्स हैं? प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल्स हैं. All right. So all the bacteria possess prokaryotic cell. अगर अब आपको suppose example पूछा जाए, right? Which organisms having prokaryotic cells? So simply, bacteria is having prokaryotic cells, right? Then guys, eukaryotic cells example, plants, plant cell, animal cell, fungi cell, protozoa, right, protista, amoeba, right, ये सभी क्या है? They all are having eukaryotic cell. तो याद करने के लिए what you have to remember that except bacteria everyone is having eukaryotic cell. तो अब तो कोई टेंशन ही नहीं है. What type of cells we have in our body? Eukaryotic, right? What type of cells dog is having? Eukaryotic. What type of cell plants is having? Eukaryotic. Clear? So now these are the types. Now the next thing that is cell organelle. So basically cell organelles are the parts of cells which perform various functions within the body. ठीक है? Cell organelles क्या है? They are the parts of cells only. They are the compartments, like ऐसे समझो कि suppose your house is a cell. Right, in your house you have a kitchen, you have a washroom, you have a dining room, right? So every room has their particular function, na? So similarly within the cell also we have these organelle which perform various functions in our body, right? Like nucleus. So nucleus is what? Nucleus is double membranous structure. Double membranous मतलब surrounded by two membrane, right? Within the nucleus we have a genetic material, right? Nucleus के अंदर क्या होता है? Genetic material like DNA, right? So with this DNA only it controls the cell activity. मतलब nucleus हमारे घर के हमारे parent हैं, right? जो पूरे घर को कंट्रोल करते हैं. तो सिमिलरली न्यूक्लियस ओनली कंट्रोल ऑल द एक्टिविटी ऑफ द ऑर्गेनल. सभी ऑर्गेनल्स को कंट्रोल कौन करेगा? न्यूक्लियस, राइट? देन माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया इज ऑल्सो डबल मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड, right? And it is called powerhouse of the cell. Why? Because it helps in the synthesis of ATP. ATP क्या है? Adenosine triphosphate, right? So energy currency, ATP is the energy currency which is produced by the mitochondria only, right? And that's why it is called as a powerhouse of the cell. So whatever the energy we have in our body, like that, all the energy is due to the produced by the mitochondria. जैसे electricity आता है ना electric house से, तो उसी तरह energy in our body is mitochondria. Ribosomes again present within the cells, they are not surrounded by any membrane, right? So आप ऐसे कह सकते हैं membraneless, right? Smallest cell organelle, membraneless, smallest cell organelles, right? And the important function of ribosome is to synthesize protein in our body. So whatever the proteins are synthesized na in our body, those proteins are synthesized via ribosomes only. तो जो भी प्रोटीन बनते हैं राइबोसोम बनाते हैं. Endoplasmic reticulum. Now this endoplasmic reticulum is having membrane, right, attached with nuclear membrane. So endoplasmic reticulum attached with nuclear membrane. Like suppose कि अगर आपका ये nucleus है, this is your nucleus, right? So nucleus के बाहर जो membrane होती है ना, this outer membrane of the nucleus, यहाँ पे हमें क्या मिलता है? Endoplasmic reticulum. ठीक है? So here we have endoplasmic reticulum. This is what? Endoplasmic reticulum. Now endoplasmic reticulum has important function in the transportation of material within the cell, right? So its important function is transportation of material within the cell, right? Now guys, here this endoplasmic reticulum is of two types, right? Rough endoplasmic and smooth endoplasmic, right? There are of two types. In short, it is also called ER, right? So rough ER and smooth ER. So दो टाइप के होते हैं एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम, ठीक है? What are rough endoplasmic reticulum? So suppose this is your nucleus, right? Outside the nucleus we have a endoplasmic reticulum. ठीक है, सपोज ये एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम है. सो इफ द सरफेस ऑफ एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम इज अटैच्ड विथ राइबोसोम, if the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, if the ribosomes attached with the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, now what is this? This is ribosome. Okay, so now this portion is called rough endoplasmic reticulum. ठीक है, तो अगर एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम से राइबोसोम्स अटैच्ड होते हैं तो दैट पोर्शन इज कॉल्ड व्हाट? रफ. इट मेक्स द सरफेस rough. Okay, now what happens in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum? So now suppose this is your nucleus, right? And here you have endoplasmic reticulum. Again you have endoplasmic reticulum. So here no ribosome attached with the surface. No ribosome attached with the surface. So what happened? This is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So now what are the function of rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum? Rough endoplasmic reticulum involved in the rough endoplasmic reticulum helps in protein synthesis. ठीक है, The main function is in protein synthesis. And smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the important function is lipid, carbohydrate, sterol synthesis, right? So they help in the synthesis of these many things, right? Apart from this, this smooth endoplasmic reticulum also helps in the detoxification. ठीक है, ये detoxification भी करते हैं. So these are the important point related to endoplasmic reticulum. Then we have a Golgi body. Now whatever the protein, whatever the lipids are prepared by the endoplasmic reticulum, they reaches into the Golgi, right? Then Golgi modify them, whatever part is not required, they just remove it. They just modify whatever the protein we required, what type of protein we required, Golgi body just modify them, packed them into the vesicle and then passed it to the other part of the cell. Lysosomes, again it is a kind of vesicles within the cell, right? Suppose this is lysosomal vesicle. This lysosomal vesicle is made up of what? It is made up of acidic, it has an acidic enzyme known as, inside this you have a hydrolytic enzyme. In the presence of hydrolytic enzymes, what happen? Whatever the material is not required within the cell, na, this lysosome started digesting them. Okay, and now why it is called as suicidal bag? Because sometime what happened, the acid present within the lysosome vesicle na comes outside and started degrading own vesicle only. That's why it is called as suicidal bag of the cell. Okay, so these are some of the important organelle and their functions. Next part of our topic is tissue. So I hope cell is clear. Now what happened? Whenever the cell combines together, they form tissue. Okay, so now if we have a plant, if the plant cells combine together, they form plant tissue. If animal cells combine together, they form animal tissue. So now plant tissue together forms the organ of plants like leaf, stem, root and all. Animal tissue, like together they form the organs of animals like lungs, liver, skin and all. So now let us see first of all the plant tissue and then we'll go with animal tissue. Plant tissue majorly divided into two major types, meristematic and the permanent type. So we have a two major type of plant tissue, meristematic and permanent. Meristematic plant tissue are the actively dividing plant tissue. You know, actively dividing का मतलब क्या हुआ? Like you know, continuous division takes place within the cell till the cell survive. मतलब ये cells meristematic की cells वो होंगी जब तक plant में जान होगी तब तक वो divide करेगा ही करेगा. Permanent divide for some time and then stop dividing. Permanent is of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, right? Now this is how you can classify the plant tissue, right? So plant tissue two types, permanent and the meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue continuously dividing, right? Here permanent tissue after some time stop dividing, right? After some time they stop dividing. Now meristematic tissue, based on their location, right, where you will found this meristematic tissue, so based on the location it is of three types: apical meristeme, intercalary meristeme and lateral meristeme, right? So based on the like the location, meristematic tissue is of three types: apical, intercalary and lateral. Now, apical meristematic tissue, basically, apical meristematic tissue are the meristematic tissues, right, which you will found at the apex, or you can say which you will found at the tips of the root and shoot. So, where you will found apex or tips of root and shoot, right? This is the location. Then what are the function of apical meristematic tissue? It increases the length of the plant. Okay. Length increases. Okay. Intercalary meristematic tissue found at the nodes and leaf base. Okay. Lateral meristem found at the lateral side of root and shoot. Okay. This lateral meristem helps in the helps to increase diameter of plant, चौड़ाई, गिर्थ बढ़ाते हैं, ठीक है. Whereas intercalary meristematic tissue present at the nodes of leaf, and from here the new leaves comes out, the new leaves arises, ठीक है. So this is the meristematic tissue. Then we have permanent tissue, two types, simple and complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue made up of same type of cells, and complex permanent tissue made up of when different cells group together. So when different cells group together, you will get what? Complex permanent tissue, right? Then simple permanent tissue further divided into parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. ठीक है. Parenchyma, the major function of parenchyma is storage. It helps in the storage of food. Whatever the food produced after the photosynthesis, the parenchyma store those foods because of having large vacuole. Collenchyma provides the flexibility to the plant, and sclerenchyma provides the strength to the plant. मजबूती देती है, ठीक है. Complex, we have xylem and phloem. Now xylem is made up of four types of cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. Okay. Phloem is made up of four types of cells: sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. So these are the four type of cells forms phloem. What are the major function of xylem and phloem? So xylem helps in the transportation of food, or you can say transportation solute and minerals, or you can say transportation of water. Okay, transportation of water from root to shoot, whereas phloem helps in the transportation of food from leaf to different part of the plant. So ये याद रखिएगा, ठीक है. Then we have animal tissues. So animal tissues basically whenever the animal cells group together, they form animal tissue. Now we have four types of animal tissues basically. So four types of animal tissues we have: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, एंड नर्वस टिश्यू। ये 4 टाइप के टिश्यूज होते हैं हमारे बॉडी में, राइट। एपिथेलियल टिश्यू, व्हाट आर द मेजर फंक्शन ऑफ एपिथेलियल टिश्यू? इट इज प्रेजेंट इन द आउटर लाइनिंग ऑफ आवर बॉडी। ठीक है, तो जो भी हमारी बॉडी की आउटर लाइनिंग है ना, लाइक आवर स्किन, स्किन इज मेड अप ऑफ एपिथेलियल टिश्यू। ठीक है, तो जहां पे भी जैसे कोई ऑर्गन है उसकी आउटर लाइनिंग, एवरीवेयर इट इज प्रेजेंट, एपिथेलियल टिश्यू इज ओनली प्रेजेंट एट द आउटर कवरिंग ऑफ एनी ऑर्गन और द बॉडी। ठीक है, व्हाट आर द मेजर फंक्शन? ऑफ कोर्स protection, because it does not allow any germs to get inside the body, so it provide protection to our body. Then absorption, so like the material get absorbed within our body, like whatever the oil and all you are putting over the body na, through the skin, that oil absorb within the cell, so it helps in the absorption. Secretion, basically apart from that, within the body also the material, like whatever the nutrient digested, they all enters from one organ to other organ, so they have a absorption property. Secretion, like there are some glandular cells which has ability to secrete the things, so they are the, you know, secretory property also. They have a sensory, like our skin is one of the sensory organ, so these are some of the important functions. Connective tissue is used to connect the two body organs, where basically it is used to connect the parts of our cells, parts of organs, tissues and all. So connective tissue provide support. Which connective tissue provide support? Basically bones and cartilage. Okay, so bones and cartilage are the types of connective tissue which provide supports to our body. Then binding of organ, so we have tendon and ligament, right? Tendon connects bone to muscle and ligament connects bone to bone. So the two bone connected together with the help of ligaments, and the bones and the muscles connected with the help of tendon. So this is tendon and ligament is again a type of connective tissue. Transport of substance, blood and lymph. So what are blood and lymph? Again blood and lymph are the type of connective tissue which is used to transport the material from one part of the body to other part. Immunity, like we have a WBC cells, like blood, within the blood we have a WBC cells which provide defense system to our body. So these are some of the functions of connective tissues. Then the third type is your muscular tissue. Now muscular tissue makes muscles of our body, right? So whatever the muscles we have in our body made up of muscular tissue. Now the muscular tissue works in movement and locomotion. ठीक है, तो ये जो muscular tissue है, what are the work of muscular tissue? It provide movement and locomotion because it has a elastic property, so it helps in the movement and the locomotion. Nervous system, conduction of nerve impulse, coordination of body function. So basically nerve impulses जो हमारे nervous tissue होते हैं, they are made up of what? Their nervous tissue are made up of neuron cells and glial cells. Glial cells provide nutrition to the brain, and neurons helps in the conduction of information from one place to another place. So these are some of the important tissues of our body, right? So that is all about the tissues, plant and animal. Now the next topic is nutrition. Now nutrition, basically what is nutrition? First of all, what do you mean by nutrition? How you are going to define nutrition, guys? Process of uptake of nutrient for growth and development of body, right? So what is nutrition basically? Nutrition is nothing but the process, right, through which the organism take up the nutrient for their growth and development. Now what are the nutrient actually? What are the nutrient? Nutrient are the food component we are taking, like vitamins, fats, carbohydrate, right, lipids, protein. So these are the nutrients. So the process through which organisms take that nutrient for their growth and development, this process is called nutrition. Now depending upon the organism, we have two major category of nutrition. One is autotrophic mode of nutrition, another one is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now the organisms like our plants, okay, the organisms like plant prepare their food by themselves with the help of photosynthesis, right? So with the help of photosynthesis, plants prepare their food by themselves. That's why plant considered as having a autotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, heterotrophic, where the organisms are not able to synthesize their food by themselves, right? They are dependent on other for their food. Like suppose we are the animals, we are not able to synthesize our food within themselves. ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि हमारे बॉडी के अंदर ही फूड बनता रहता है. We have to cook the food, we have to eat, right? Then our body get the nutrient na. So we are dependent on vegetable, fruits, chicken, meat for our nutrient. So heterotrophic mode of nutrition shows by those organisms, those who are dependent on other for their nutrient. Now photosynthesis, right? What are the reaction of photosynthesis? 6CO2 H2O gives glucose and oxygen. So basically what happened? For the photosynthesis, plants required carbon dioxide from atmosphere, sunlight from sun and water from soil, right? Together they make a glucose and then releases oxygen as a byproduct. Okay, that glucose, whatever the glucose formed within the plant, right, that glucose store in the form of starch in case of plant. So ये जो glucose बना, stored in the form of starch, right, requires sunlight, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide and water. So what happened here? It requires sunlight, chlorophyll, CO2 and water. Then heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So guys, heterotrophic mode of nutrition, organism depends on other for food. Okay. Now we have different types of heterotrophic like holozoic, saprotrophic and parasitic. Now under the heterotrophic, we have a different modes like the organism may be parasitic, organisms may be saprophytic, organisms shows holozoic mode of nutrition. What does it means? Parasitic means if the organism, enters inside the host body, right, and started taking up their nutrition, like the tapeworm, fleas, they just entered in our body and then started taking up the nutrition. They are called parasites. And the mode of nutrition, they have parasitic mode of nutrition. Saprophytic fungus. Saprophytic are those, saprophytes are those organisms which takes up their nutrient from dead and decaying organism. ठीक है, जो चीजें सड़ जाती हैं, गल जाती हैं, वहां से those who dead matter, from the dead matter, the organism who takes up their nutrition, they are called saprophytic, like example fungi. Holozoic, who shows various process in their digestion, like for who shows various processes, stepwise step the nutrition takes place, like they have digestion, ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, egestion. So ये सारे steps जिनमें होते हैं ना, they are having holozoic mode of nutrition. Then now let us understand what are the various systems we have in our body. Okay. Now let us understand the digestive system. Okay. So basically this is the system of our body which helps in the digestion of complex nutrient into simpler nutrient. So basically digestive system, digestion is what? How you are going to define digestion? ठीक है, कॉम्प्लेक्स न्यूट्रिएंट को सिंपलेस्ट न्यूट्रिएंट में ब्रेक करने के प्रोसेस को डाइजेशन कहते हैं. ठीक है. नाउ फॉर द डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम वेरियस ऑर्गन्स रिक्वायर्ड लाइक माउथ, ओएसोफेगस, स्टमक, small intestine, large intestine, anus. So these are some of the digestive organs. Basically, we have few glands also. These are the accessory organs, glands which helps in the digestion, like salivary glands releases saliva, right? And this saliva having amylase enzyme, salivary amylase, which digest carbohydrate. So this enzyme helps in digestion of carbohydrate. Okay. Similarly, liver, from the liver the bile juice synthesizes. This bile juice enters into the gallbladder, stored within the gallbladder, and when required it helps in the emulsification of lipid or fat. Okay. Pancreas releases enzyme trypsin, chymotrypsin. They helps in the digestion of protein. So these are several glands which helps in the digestion, right? Then we have a peristalsis movement, which is a wave-like movement pushing the food, villi present in the small intestine, which helps in the absorption of the nutrient. So let me tell you first of all what are the process or mechanism of digestion. See, the first thing is from the mouth, right? You just ingest the food, right? Intake of food is called ingestion. So from the mouth there is an intake of food. Then here we have a salivary gland. Here we have a salivary gland. Salivary gland releases saliva, right? This saliva contains salivary amylase enzyme. That salivary amylase breaks whatever the carbohydrate present in the food. It does not break any other particles, only it works on carbohydrate. So within the mouth only the digestion is started and the carbohydrate digested, not completely, partially. Okay. After that, from the mouth the food enters into the oesophagus. Oesophagus is also called as food pipe, right? It is also called as food pipe. Through oesophagus, the food enters into the stomach via peristalsis movement. It is a wave like movement. It's not like कि ये एकदम से ऐसे सरक के आता है, ऐसे wave की तरह से ये stomach में पहुंचता है. ठीक है. Once the food, now no digestion takes place in the esophagus. Once the food enters into the stomach, within the stomach we have a gastric juice, right? Which, what does that gastric juice will do? It makes the stomach environment acidic plus activate a pepsinogen enzyme into pepsin. तो pepsin enzyme क्या करता है? Whatever the protein content present in the food, that pepsin started digesting that protein. ठीक है, उसको digest करना शुरू कर दिया. So within the stomach, protein digestion start. Not completely, but yet partial protein digested within the stomach. ठीक है, वहां से digestion आगे बढ़ता है and the food enters into the small intestine. So from here the food enters into the small intestine. ठीक है, ये small intestine में जाता है. Small intestine has three part: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. First part is duodenum. Within the duodenum, when the food reaches, bile juice secreted from the gallbladder, whatever the lipid is present, that lipid started emulsifying, right? Further, pancreas releases its pancreatic juice into the duodenum and it contains several enzymes which helps in the complete digestion of all the nutrient. Whatever the nutrient is partially digested till now, like carbohydrate, protein, fat and everything, all those nutrients started digesting completely, ठीक है, with the help of pancreatic juice. Then within the jejunum, absorption started, ठीक है. Ileum and jejunum में absorption होता है. Whatever the food digested, they enters into the blood vessels. Via blood, that nutrients reaches to all the body parts. Whatever the nutrient is undigested, from the ileum, it enters into the large intestine. Within the large intestine, what happened? The remaining water absorbed within the blood and the waste become, whatever the unabsorbed material, that become waste, store in the rectum, and from anus it comes out of the body, right? So this is what we call mechanism of digestion. Now for your exam, this chart is very important, right? So what are the enzymes, what are their location, what are their nutrient digested, everything is given in the chart. You have to prepare, you may get questions from here only. ठीक है, मैकेनिज्म मैंने समझा दिया. अब कौन से एंजाइम कहाँ पे एक्ट कर रहे हैं, you will get it from here. Okay, so see, enzyme name, their location, their function and their pH, at what pH they work. So salivary amylase, name also known as ptyalin, releases on mouth from salivary gland, breaks starch carbohydrate into maltose, works on alkaline pH 6.7 to 7. Pepsin releases in stomach from gastric gland, break protein into peptones, pH acidic, work on acidic pH. Renin, in case of infants like the child, releases from stomach, coagulates, like digest the milk protein, work on pH 3.5 to 4. Lipase again releases from gastric acid, like within the stomach, started fat digestion, pH 4 to 5. Pancreatic amylase releases pancreas from the pancreas to small intestine, convert starch into maltose. So these are the pancreatic enzyme. Trypsin, chymotrypsin, these all are pancreatic enzymes, right? From pancreas releases into small intestine, convert their substrate. Maltase releases from small intestine, intestinal gland, sucrase, intestinal gland, and their conversion and the pH. Okay, so this you have to cover. Please note it down. This chart is really very important for your exam. Then we have lactase, peptidase, again intestinal, nuclease, pancreas, nucleotidase, intestinal. So just try to note it down, all those enzymes. Okay, done. Then we have another system of our body, that is respiratory system. So respiratory system, now what does the function of respiratory system? See what happen whenever the food digested, whatever the nutrient you are taking, okay, that nutrient digested enters inside the cell via absorption. Now that nutrient metabolized in the presence of oxygen to gives you energy, ATP and water. This process done by a respiration. This is called cellular respiration. So basically, respiration takes place in two steps, breathing and cellular respiration. So there are two steps of respiration, breathing and cellular respiration. Okay, basically it has two parts, breathing and right. Breathing, what happens during breathing? Okay, so inhalation, breathing occurs in two phases, inhalation and exhalation, also known as inspiration, expiration. What happens in inhalation? Enters, expiration, carbon dioxide moves out. ठीक है, तो breathing takes place in two steps, inhalation and exhalation. Via inhalation what happen? The oxygen get inside the body. Exhalation, CO2 goes outside the body. ये दो process होता है breathing में. Now the comes cellular respiration. Once the oxygen enters inside the lungs, from the lungs that oxygen reaches to the blood vessels. ठीक है, via blood that oxygen reaches to all the body organ, all the body cells. Within the cells already the nutrients are waiting, right? Once they got oxygen, they start metabolizing, ठीक है, and then they produce CO2, ATP and water. Now whatever the ATP produces by then, that ATP is utilized by us in the form of energy. Okay, so basically respiration is what? Breaking down glucose into release energy or nutrient to release energy. Okay, what are the two types of respiration? Aerobic and anaerobic. So basically we have two types of respiration, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration with require oxygen. So now respiration nutrient metabolizes in the presence of oxygen also, in the absence of oxygen also. So whenever the nutrient metabolizes in the presence of oxygen, called as aerobic oxygen respiration, absence anaerobic respiration. Now what are the respiratory organs we have actually? So here we have nose, right? Here we have pharynx, right? Then we have trachea, then bronchi. These are what? These are bronchi, right? This is your lungs. Bronchi enters divided into bronchioles, and bronchioles have a balloon like structure called alveoli, right? So these are the parts of respiratory system. What are the pathway? So from the nose, oxygen enters into the trachea. From trachea, oxygen reaches to bronchi. From bronchi, oxygen reaches to lungs, right? Within the lungs, what happens? This oxygen enters into the, from the alveoli, oxygen enters into the blood, right? And from the blood, CO2 enters into the alveoli, right? Now again from the alveoli, From the alveoli, CO2 reaches to bronchi. From the bronchi, CO2 reaches to trachea. From the trachea, CO2 reaches to nose and then come outside the body. Right? तो ये pathway चलता है. In the alveoli, gaseous exchange takes place via diffusion. Okay? Diffusion क्या होता है? Movement of हायर कंसंट्रेशन टू लोअर कंसंट्रेशन. ठीक है, तो अभी क्या हुआ, जैसे सपोज ये हमारी एल्वियोलाई है, राइट, सो इट हैज ऑक्सीजन फ्रॉम आउटसाइड, ऑक्सीजन is higher concentration and it has carbon dioxide very less. Okay, now what happened, this alveoli is surrounded by blood vessels. What is this? This is blood vessels, right? So from the blood vessel, within the blood vessels, what we have carbon dioxide in large amount. CO2, 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 so much CO2 we have, and in the blood we have very less oxygen. ठीक है, ऑक्सीजन क्या है, बहुत कम है. So from where to where the movement takes place? From where to where movement takes place, guys? This CO2 from the blood, right? Higher to lower, diffusion higher to lower. So CO2 moves from blood to alveoli, oxygen moves from alveoli to blood. So like this, the exchange of gas takes place. So the question asked, like, which respiratory organ involves in the gaseous exchange? So alveoli. Alveoli helps in the gaseous exchange. Okay. So this is all about respiratory system. Now let's have a circulatory system. So basically, circulatory system is a system of our body which is like a transportation system. So circulatory system is nothing but the transportation system of our body. Like if you want to go somewhere, you need some transportation. So similarly, whenever the nutrient, gases, waste, how they are transported from one part of our body to other part? Via circulatory system. The circulatory system helps in the transportation of material inside our body from one part to other part. ठीक है? What are the main component of circulatory systems? So heart, blood vessels, lymphatic system. So basically they are the important component, right, in the circulatory system. What does heart do? Muscular organ pumps the blood. So heart is simply, a motor like structure which only function is to pump the blood. So when the heart pumps the blood comes out from the vessel, the blood comes out from the heart, enters into the blood vessels, and via blood vessels it reaches to all the body organ. ठीक है? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. It is a type of connective tissue. So via blood the material transported to all the body organ. Blood vessels, three types of blood vessels we have: artery, capillaries and veins. These blood vessels are like a pipe like structure through which the blood is transported. Okay. Lymphatic system consists of lymph vessels and lymph node. So now let us see first of all what happened in the structure and function of heart. So heart is made up of 4 chamber. So this is for mammals. Okay, mammals heart, mammals, you can say mammals and the birds heart is made up of four chambers, right, having two atria and two ventricles. Similarly, fishes heart is only two chamber. Okay, amphibians and reptiles heart is three chamber. Crocodile is exception having four chambered heart. ठीक है, क्रोकोडाइल क्या है, एक्सेप्शन है जिसके पास फोर चैम्बर हार्ट होते हैं. तो यहाँ पे क्या है, ये लिख देती हूं मैं, crocodile being a reptile it has four chamber heart, right? Now guys, the heartbeat control, okay, now let me tell you first of all the structure of heart. So the heart consists of various parts like four chamber. What are the four chamber? Auricles, so two auricles, and then ventricles, two ventricle. तो आप इसको ऐसे समझो कि हमारे हार्ट में दो ऑरिकल और दो वेंट्रिकल्स होते हैं. ठीक है, नाउ व्हाट हैपन फ्रॉम द बॉडी पार्ट, द हार्ट रिसीव्स डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड. मैं ना आपको एक इसका डायग्राम बना के दिखा देती हूँ. ये सर्किट डायग्राम है, इससे आप समझ जाएंगे. सपोज ये हमारी अर्ट्रियम है, ऊपर राइट अर्ट्रियम, लेफ्ट अर्ट्रियम, राइट वेंट्रिकल, लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल. ठीक है, तो अभी क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे कि ये सपोज करो हमारी बॉडी ऑर्गन है. ओके, यहाँ पे क्या है, हमारा लंग्स है. सो व्हाट हैपन व्हेनेवर द रेस्पिरेशन टेक्स प्लेस. ठीक है, जब रेस्पिरेशन हो जाता है, ड्यूरिंग द रेस्पिरेशन व्हाट हैपन, सी ये केमिकल रिएक्शन हो रहा था, ग्लूकोज ऑक्सीजन यूटिलाइजेस फॉर्म CO2 वाटर एंड एनर्जी. तो ये जो CO2 बनाना, दिस CO2 इज वेस्ट, राइट? So now this CO2 enters into the blood. So once the CO2 enters into the blood na, our blood become deoxygenated. So from body organ ये CO2 वाला blood कहाँ पहुंचता है, right atrium में. Which blood? Containing CO2. ठीक है, ये कहाँ पहुंच रहा है, राइट अर्ट्रियम में. और ये जो पाइप है जिसके थ्रू ये पहुंच रहा है, इसको हम कहते हैं वेना कैवा. ठीक है, वेना कैवा के थ्रू पहुंचता है. तो अब क्या हुआ, वेना कैवा से राइट अर्ट्रियम में पहुंचा. विद इन द राइट अर्ट्रियम व्हेन द ब्लड फिल्ड, देन व्हाट हैपेंड, हियर वी हैव अ वाल्व. और इस वाल्व को हम क्या कहते हैं, दिस वाल्व इज कॉल्ड ट्राइकस्पिड valve. तो ये valve open होती है. Once the valve open up, now what happen? The blood enters into right ventricle, from right atrium to right ventricle. यहां से वापस blood निकलेगी, enters into the lungs. Now कौन सी blood निकलेगी? Again deoxygenated blood containing CO2, right? Enters into the blood. Now this pipe is known as what? इस पाइप का क्या नाम है, pulmonary artery. These are nothing but the blood vessel. CO2 लेके lungs पे क्या, already lungs के अंदर alveoli में we have oxygen. Now what happen, exchange of gas takes place. Now the oxygen enters into the blood and CO2 enters into the lungs. So as the oxygen enters into the blood becomes red and named as oxygenated blood. ठीक है, इसको हम क्या कहेंगे, oxygenated blood कहेंगे. Now this pipe is called pulmonary vein. इस पाइप को क्या कहेंगे, pulmonary vein. So via pulmonary vein this oxygenated blood enters into the left atrium. ठीक है, left atrium में again here we have valve. This valve is called bicuspid valve, right? This bicuspid valve is also known as mitral valve, right? So once the blood filled into the left atrium, oxygenated blood, it enters into the left ventricle. Okay? Now from left ventricle, again a bigger artery pipe open up, and that pipe is known as what? Aorta. Okay? This is what? Aorta. Now from aorta, again the oxygenated blood enters into the body organ. So which type of blood aorta takes? Oxygenated blood. Okay? So now again our body get oxygen, and then the respiration takes place, then CO2 forms, and this process continue and continue. Okay? So this is how our heart works. Then the heartbeat controlled by pacemaker or SA node. So basically SA node, ये question भी पूछा जाता है, like where you have SA nodes in our heart. So in the right atrium now we have SA node. So what happened, as you all know that all the body organ works whenever they receive signal from the neurons, right? So in the heart, SA node receives the signal from the neurons. Once the SA node receives the signal, then only the heart start pumping the blood. कैसे होता है blood pumping? So now suppose this is our SA node, receives signal from the heart. Once it receives signal from the heart, it passes this signal to AV node. Okay? Now AV node passes this signal to wall of the ventricles, and as soon as the ventricles got signal, it started contracting and started pumping the blood. Okay? Now what happens, sometime when SA node is not functioning, not working properly, in that case the doctor insert pacemaker via surgery below the collarbone, right? And in that case what happened, now the nerve impulse received by pacemaker given to the heart for contraction. That's why it is also called as artificial pacemaker of the heart. Normally our heart beats 72 times per minute in adult body. In children's or in infant it is 100, sometimes it is 100 also. Why? Because their body is very small, very short, so it takes very less time to pump the blood whole body. Okay? Double circulation are the type of circulatory system which involves our lungs and heart both. Now what is double circulation? See, to complete one circulation, our heart receives 2 times blood, right? Once it receives, first it receives blood from body organ, right? Then deoxygenated blood reaches to the lungs, get oxygen, again it come back to the heart. So since to complete one circulation of our body, our heart receives 2 times blood. That's why it is called double circulation. So in mammals and in the birds we have double circulation. Whereas since fishes have only 2-chambered heart, so they shows only single circulation. So wherever there is a lungs involvement in the circulation, it is double circulation. Okay. So now the blood vessels, as I told you, they are nothing but the pipes, right? So we have 3 types of blood vessels: artery, veins and capillaries. So artery always carry blood away from the heart. As you have seen, the aorta takes blood away from the heart. Also artery always carry oxygenated blood, but there is an exception: pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery is an exceptional which carry deoxygenated blood. Okay. Whereas veins carry blood towards the heart, like we have a vena cava. It is a collection of veins. From the body organ, it gives blood to the heart. So you can say that carry blood to the heart. And which type of blood it carry? Deoxygenated. Again we have an exceptional vein named as pulmonary vein which carry oxygenated blood. तो ये याद रख लीजिएगा because from here only you will get a question in your exam. They just ask you pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein carries which type of blood. Then capillaries is not involved in the transportation. Capillaries involved in the exchange of gases, right? So it helps in the exchange of gas, nutrient and waste. So these are the three types of blood vessels. Another component of the heart or circulatory system is our blood and the lymph. So blood is made up of two major components, plasma and blood corpuscles. Three types of blood corpuscles we have, RBC, WBC and platelets. So now inside the blood we have 55% plasma which is made up of 90 to 92% water. So our plasma, blood plasma is made up of water and the other part like nutrient, hormone, enzymes, vitamins, everything is present within the blood plasma. Okay. Three types of corpuscles we have, RBC, WBC and platelets. RBC carries hemoglobin, helps in the transportation of oxygen, and basically the major function of RBC is also to transport the nutrient, right? WBC, white blood cells, provide immunity to our body, right? Fight with the infection. Platelets helps in the blood clotting. So these are the major function of the blood corpuscles. Again we have another component, lymph. Lymph is what? A clear fluid, part of immune system. Again the lymph is helps in the transportation of fat and the drainage of excess fluid. So whatever the excess fluid we have inside the blood, that leaks into the lymphatic system and then through lymph it goes outside. So these are the various component of the heart, you can say circulatory system. These are some of the terms related to your circulatory system like hypertension. Hypertension comes whenever the blood pressure increases. When the blood pressure increases, so blood pressure increases when the diameter of the blood vessels decreases. जब पाइप पतली सी हो जाती है ना, हमारी blood vessels की पाइप बहुत पतली हो जाती है, then with very high pressure the blood started pumping, then it causes high blood pressure. Okay. Anemia, low hemoglobin. So within the red blood cells we have a hemoglobin pigment. That hemoglobin number if decreases, the person suffers from anemia. So that's why the doctor provide said iron, because this hemoglobin is made up of iron plus globin part. Okay, iron plus globin protein. So the deficiency of hemoglobin recovered with the help of iron tablets and all. So this is your iron. Then pulses, beat felt in arteries, that is 72 times per minute. What is ECG? Electrocardiogram, which is a graphical representation of our heartbeat, right? Actually the heartbeat forms whenever the contraction and relaxation takes place. So whenever our heart contracts, the blood pumps out. When the heart relaxes, the blood get inside the heart, right? So the graphical representation of ECG suggests that contraction and relaxation only. Okay, so it is just a graphical representation of our heartbeat. For your exam you have to memorize the name actually, right? What is ECG, what are their functions, and also just try to memorize these terms. They are not going to ask you very detail, but yes, these terms are very important. Now next we have excretory system. Excretory system is basically a system of our body which is used to remove the waste material, right? So whatever the waste we have in our blood, that waste filters by the kidney and then it removed via urine. So this whole process is done via excretory system of our body. So how you are going to define excretion? Removal of waste. Why it is called metabolic waste? Because it's not like na ki you are eating any waste ऐसा तो है नहीं, वी आर ईटिंग ओनली द गुड थिंग ना, वी हम लोग न्यूट्रिशन लेते हैं, न्यूट्रिएंट खाते हैं, वेस्ट तो हम खाते नहीं है. देन हाउ दिस वेस्ट जनरेटेड इन आवर बॉडी? सो वॉट एवर द मेटाबॉलिक प्रोसेस टेक्स प्लेस, लाइक सपोज आपने कार्बोहाइड्रेट खाया, राइट? फ्रॉम द कार्बोहाइड्रेट you will get a glucose get metabolized, right? After the metabolism, glucose converted into ATP, CO2 and water is beneficial for our body, ATP is beneficial, CO2 is waste. So that CO2 goes out from our body via lungs, तो वो तो लंग से निकल गया. Similarly we have another nutrient like protein. अभी प्रोटीन जो है ये मेटाबोलाइज नहीं होता है पूरा कंप्लीटली, दैट प्रोटीन इज नॉट मेटाबोलाइज. फैट्स आर ऑल्सो मेटाबोलाइज कंप्लीटली, but proteins are not completely metabolized. So the waste we have in our body generated via proteins only. That's why that waste are also called as nitrogenous waste. So metabolic waste are basically nitrogenous waste. Nitrogenous means the waste made up of nitrogen. Okay, waste made up of nitrogen, because protein is made up of nitrogen only. So now, what are the organs which helps in the excretion? So we have a kidney, ureter, urinary bladder and urethra. ठीक है, तो इनका सेटअप कुछ ऐसा होता है. See, we have a pair of kidney in our body. यहाँ पे बताती हूँ next page पे. Right? So always everyone having pair of kidney. ठीक है. Now from each kidney a pipe comes out, right? A pipe arises. Now this pipe is called ureter. This is our kidney. This is our ureter. Okay, and this ureter open up into a bladder. ठीक है. Now this is what? Bladder. Urinary bladder. Okay, and here we have urethra. So these are the four major components of the excretory system. Within the kidney, urine formation takes place, or you can say synthesis of urine takes place within the kidney. तो एक बार जब kidney में urine बन जाता है, right? Once the urine forms within the kidney, it enters into the ureter. So via ureter, that urine reaches to the bladder. ठीक है, bladder में urine आया, collect हुआ. Once the bladder get full, ठीक है, जब bladder full हो जाता है, then it started contracting, and then the urine enters from ureter, it reaches to the urinary bladder. Once the bladder got full, the urine enters into the urethra, and from urethra it comes out of our body. तो ये pathway you have to remember, right? Kidney, ureter, bladder, urethra. How many kidney we have? 2. How many ureter we have? 2. How many bladder we have? 1. Urethra? 1. Okay. So kidney का क्या काम है? Filter urea from the blood and makes the urine. Ureter carry urine to the bladder. Urinary bladder stores our urine until it gets full, and then urethra removes urine from our body. Now within the kidney, who is synthesizing the urine? अभी kidney के अंदर, like suppose you have any factory, ठीक है, suppose you have any textile factory or sugar factory and anything. So within the factory you have a several machines ना, which helps in the production of that product. ठीक है, तो within the kidney we have a nephrons, right? These nephrons helps in the production of urine. So you can say that nephrons are the functional or structural unit of kidney. Structural and functional unit of kidney, right? Because this nephrons only helps in the formation of urine, and in one kidney approximately 1 million nephrons are present in one kidney approximately. Okay, so this is about your excretory system. Then we have a nervous system, guys. So nervous system basically consists of two major parts. central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system, let me make a graph. So here we have nervous system. Nervous system is basically a system of our body which coordinates all the body organ through neurons, right, and passes the signals. So here nervous system divided into two major categories, CNS and PNS. CNS is central nervous system, PNS is peripheral nervous system. CNS made up of two things, brain and spinal cord. Since it is present in the center, like we have a brain in the center and just below the brain we have a spinal cord. Like suppose this is our brain and this is our spinal cord. ये हमारा brain हो गया and this is the spinal cord. So since they are present in the center of our body, that's why it includes in a central nervous system. Peripheral nervous system is of two types, autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. Now what is autonomic and somatic nervous system? Basically peripheral nervous system consists of nerves. So जितने भी nerves है ना we have in our body at the periphery, ठीक है, CNS, brain और spinal cord से whatever the neurons comes out, it reaches to the outer area of our body. हमारे periphery पे सारे nerves आते हैं. So the nerves which is present at the periphery, that nerves are called peripheral nervous system, which is of two types, autonomic and somatic. Autonomic further divided into two types, parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Okay. Now somatic nervous system, what is the role of somatic nervous system? It takes the information from the outer world. ठीक है, अभी बाहर suppose outside there is a rain. So how you get to know that बाहर rain हो रहा है? Obviously you will see by your eyes. So your eyes is a sense organ, right, which receives the signal that okay बाहर बारिश हो रही है, and then it gives the signal to the brain. So like this, the somatic nervous system from the outside reaches the signal to, passes the signal to the brain, and you got to know okay बाहर बारिश हो रही है. Okay, so this is the somatic nervous system function. Whatever thing is happening, if somebody is fighting, dancing, anything, whatever is having, occurring in the outside world, now how do we get to know? Via somatic nervous system, right? Now autonomic nervous system controls our internal body organ. Up suppose our stomach is digesting our food, right? Esophagus helps in the passing food from mouth to stomach. So how do they perform their function? Obviously when they receive some neuron signals na. So this autonomic nervous system controls our internal organ. तो जो भी हमारे internal organs हैं, they are controlled by autonomic nervous system. It is of parasympathetic and sympathetic. Now they both are antagonist, opposite. If one start the functioning of any organ, the other will stop the function of other organ. So it depends like which organ is start by parasympathetic, that organ is stopped by sympathetic nervous system. So these are some of the functions and classification of nervous system. Now the nervous system made up of neurons, which is a structural unit. So like in kidney we have a nephrons structural unit. Neurons is the structural unit of nervous system. Neurons looks like this. This is the structure of your neurons, right? It is having several parts. ठीक है, ये neurons का structure है, having dendroids, cell body, axon and nerve ending. Reflex action is the automatic response, right? Whatever, like you have just touch any hot pan and suddenly you just remove your hand. This is called a reflex action. What are the parts of the brain we have? Cerebrum, used for thinking, cerebellum, used for making a balance, like you are walking properly, you are sitting properly, that is maintained by cerebellum. Medulla, part of your brain, involuntary action. So whatever the action is done by itself in our body, that action controlled by medulla. Like our heart, whenever our heart pumps the blood, it will not ask your permission, वो आपसे पूछता नहीं है, right? When you are sleeping, that time also your heart is pumping the blood to your body. So that type of action is called involuntary, which does not want your permission. So ऐसे काम हमारे मेड्यूला करते हैं. Then we have a coordination in human, then endocrine system. Endocrine system consists of hormones. Hormones are the chemical compounds, considered as a chemical messengers, which comes out from a glands and reaches to all other body parts and stimulate their function. So we have important glands like pituitary gland situated in the brain, known as master gland because it controls function of all other gland. So pituitary control whatever the endocrine glands we have now, all other endocrine glands are controlled by pituitary only. That's why called as master. Thyroid gland produces thyroxine hormone, which helps to maintain the metabolic reactions of our body. Adrenal gland releases hormone adrenaline, which releases when we are in fear, when we are fighting with someone, when we are in anger. So at that time adrenaline hormone releases. Pancreas releases a hormone, insulin and glucagon. Two hormone actually it releases, insulin and glucagon. Insulin releases when we have a high blood sugar in our blood, like higher level of sugar in the blood. Then pancreas releases insulin. Insulin reaches to the blood, takes up all the glucose and give back to the cell. So like this, it reduces the sugar level from the blood. When we have very less concentration of sugar in the blood, pancreas releases glucagon hormone. Glucagon started metabolizing glycogen into glucose and raises the glucose level in the blood. Ovary and testis are the reproductive glands, right, which releases a sex hormone. Like ovary releases two hormone, estrogen and progesterone, whereas testis releases a hormone called testosterone. Okay, estrogen is the female sex hormone, testosterone is a male sex hormone. Progesterone helps in maintaining the pregnancy. So that's all about your human body system. Just that much is enough for your GAT science. Just try to revise it again, right? And whatever the book provided to you, just try to read it from there and solve MCQs. Very easily you are able to solve all the questions, but try to read these PDFs. All the contents are very, very important, right? And with this we are ending. The second part of this biology GAT will continue in the next session, where we are going to discuss again the health and disease, vitamins and all other parts of the biology, ecology, ecosystem and everything. Okay, so with this, thank you everyone. Bye bye, take care.